talk to us about which areas are going to be affected by this load shedding.
Well, Kathy, we are encouraging our viewers and listeners in general to consult their suppliers, primarily municipalities, for them to know as to which areas specifically are going to be affected. Each municipality across the nation, in terms of the NERSA's regulation, the energy regulations, they need to have their own website where they're going to say which areas will be affected for which days. From our side, all we did was just to inform those municipalities to activate their processes.
In terms of moving on from tonight, you said it'll continue at least until 10 o'clock. What can we expect for the rest of the week?
I'm afraid, Casey, for as long as there's instability and acts of intimidations at our power stations, this situation, I'm afraid, is going to continue like this. But we are hopeful that tomorrow there might be some kind of a reprieve, because we are meeting with the unions at under the auspices of the CCMA, hopefully, and hopefully being the key word, hopefully we'll find some kind of a resolution so that we can have an end to all of these things that are happening at our facility.
Khulu, when it comes to load shedding, this is a term and in fact even an experience that South Africans have been given assurances time and time again that they would never have to live through, but yet here we find ourselves.
Well, Kathy, I personally never thought I'll be speaking about load shedding again after 2014. But remember, Kathy, the difference between then and now is that in 2014, we were dealing with problems that were happening at the power station because of technical faults and things like that. Now you are dealing with a situation where the problems are man-made. You have our own colleagues who are stopping trucks that are delivering coal from going into the stations. They are stopping other people who are not part of the industrial action from going into the stations to execute their duties. All of those things are compounding to the problem that we are dealing with at the moment.
But of course, the root of this problem that you're referring to, Khulu, begins with the fact that Eskom, at the onset of these negotiations, seemed to be very arrogant, especially by the way that the unions have described it, by saying that they were going to be offering no wage increases to employees.
Well, indeed, Eskom started with a no increase offer, but because I believe that management is responsible and responsive, they then adjusted the position accordingly. So far, as I speak to you, there are two options on the table, 7.5% for the first year, which is this year, and 7% for the 2 remaining years without housing allowance. The second option is 7% for the 3 years coming, plus an offer of housing allowance. But the union said to us last week Friday when we met that they have noted our offers, but they would want us to pay the bonuses in addition to all of these offers that we're putting on the table. So management was saying, because we have posted a net loss of 2.3 billion rand, the company is not in a position to offer any bonuses. And as you know, Kathy, the general principle around the payment of bonuses is that the company has to show some level of profitability. We have posted a net loss, which is why management is saying the money is not there.
Khulu, at the same time, unions from the onset have been threatening strike action. That surely should have expedited the pace at which the negotiations were being held, especially from Eskom's side, as at the end of the month, we pay for electricity, and currently there are people tonight who are paying for a service that they will not be getting.
Well, Kathy, in all fairness, Eskom has done what it could in terms of upping its offer to where it is at the moment. The unions, when we met with them last Friday, they never even touched the issue. They said, let's park the thing. We just want you to address the bonus payments. And the bonus payments were actually addressed with them a week before. Because remember, in terms of the wage negotiations, the issues of the bonuses do not form part of the Central Bargaining Forum. They fall outside of that forum. Another forum, I think it's called Consultation Forum. That was discussed a week before, and it was addressed then. The management told them that the company didn't make money, and therefore there was no offer or no provision for bonuses. But then this matter was brought on the table again, and I must state again, Casey, while we're still on this matter, that we're dealing with what I believe one can call shifting of goalposts. Initially, during the discussions, we were told that the deal breaker was the offering of a housing allowance. When management adjusted the position to include housing allowance, now we have a new offer or a new demand, which is this one of a bonus payment.
Khulu, you could very well be doing the same thing right now as you're accusing the unions of doing, which is taking responsibility. So for those consumers tonight who have paid to have electricity but will seemingly not receive that service because you've implemented rotational load shedding, will there be refunds for consumers?
Well, I'm afraid from our side, Kathy, there's no refund because we are dealing with a situation which was not caused by, I would say, by technical faults from our side. We have done what we could in terms of trying to mitigate against this risk. But if you have our own people going into our power stations and going there to intimidate others, it becomes a very difficult situation to address that particular issue, except that we have the police on site. But obviously, if people are going inside to trip things down or do other things, it does become too difficult to contain.
Look, are you saying that Eskom takes no responsibility whatsoever for the situation that many South African customers of Eskom will find themselves in tonight?
Well, Kathy, our responsibility as a company, as you correctly note, is to generate and transmit electricity, which is what we have committed to do and are doing. Unfortunately, our attempts are being blockaded by other people, our own people, I must say, in terms of executing our mandate. So the responsibility that we have to take is in terms of us not being able to produce electricity the way we were mandated to do so. And we have gone through the normal processes in terms of trying to address this problem. But that's where we are at the moment. I'm not sure what else we can do, Kathy, but that's where we are at the moment. Yeah, if there's anything that we need to do in terms of maybe I'll say approaching the regulator to explain ourselves and things like that, that's what we will do as part of the normal engagement. But in terms of taking responsibility, and I'm not sure what else we have to account for, those are processes that we have to account for through the normal processes that we have to deal with our shareholder, which is the government.